Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel to another match preview in the Premier League. Liverpool taking on Aston Villa. And I have to say, this is going to be so weird. Steven Gerrard in the away dugout. Yes, it is happening. It is happening on Saturday. Steven Gerrard returning home where it all began for him. But joining me on this illustrious panel, we have Mr. Chris Ellis. How are you, Chris?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me. I hope you're well too.
I'm doing very well, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you. We have the David Attenborough of podcasting, Mr. Owen Thomas. How are you, sir?
I'd love to say something clever about David Attenborough, but I can't think. Apart from not being witty enough, I'm very well. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. And of course, I've got him on again. I actually can't remember the last time we did a match preview together, but it is Mr. Connor Niblett from the Cop Council. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. It's very Christmassy around everywhere, so spirits are high, of course, especially for people that are having certain parties somewhere. But I'm just gonna leave it like that. But I'm doing fantastically well, thank you, mate.
Absolute pleasure. Right, let's say hello to a few people. I saw Almighty Blues was in earlier. I think about 10:37 in the morning. So someone was very keen to be in. Hello to Helen Raybould. Hope you're doing well. Evening to James Dunlop. I'm guessing you'll be happy with the win against Arsenal. That was amazing, that game. Hello to Fox's Focus as well. Brad, big up Brad as well. And everyone is saying hello. And a hello to Chris Welsh as well. So let's talk about Aston Villa's form under Gerrard, because recently it's not been too bad. 3 wins and 1 defeat. Chris, are you surprised at the way that Gerrard started his tenure?
Yeah, I think, I suppose, being someone that didn't regularly watch the SPL, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we spoke whenever it was, however many weeks ago, when Gerrard was appointed.
Yeah.
And I think we established that he'd done a very good job at Rangers. But again, it's like with a lot of moves, how would that transpire and translate to the Premier League? We know it's going to be more difficult. Rather than being one of the best teams in the league, it's one of the, not one of the worst, but at that time, we had been one of the worst, bad form. We hadn't been great for a while. But yeah, it was just... it's been incredible how we've changed so much. The things that we'd been doing under Dean Smith before to now, and even the first game we had against Brighton, which was the start of November. He'd been in the job a week. That week was the international break. So a big proportion of those players were on international duty. So he probably had 2 or 3 days with the whole squad, those that were available. Comes to Saturday, we're up against Brighton side. Admittedly, they weren't on a great run of form themselves, but they weren't losing. They just weren't quite getting wins. But a side that play football and dominate games possession wise, it was going to be a tricky game. But you could see straight away that we were working hard, and the biggest thing that for me certainly was we were trying to play football, and we actually were playing football, some good one-touch passing, which I had seen Steven Gerrard and Rangers do, particularly in the Europa League last season. They played some good teams and played some good passing against the likes of Porto and stuff like that. And implementing that was incredible to see. Well, last week we could barely string 2 passes together, and we were passing it around. It was good. And then I think the idea was to tighten up, which he even said after his first interview, tighten up and build from there, because we were decent going forward. And as each game's got on, we've got better and better. And obviously, great win against Leicester on Sunday. Performance against Man City, yeah, it was a defeat, but I think we, arguably could have and probably should have and deserved to have come away with a point in that game against Man City. And I think all Villa fans, will probably agree that over the years, and certainly recently, when we've played Man City, they've just battered us. So the form The performances have been really good. And obviously, 3 wins out of 4 is fantastic. So, yeah, absolutely delighted. And I think slightly surprised, not necessarily the fact that Gerrard's done well and been successful so far, but just how quickly he's been able to get a tune out of the players.
Yeah, and Owen, I suppose you could kind of say that, Villa were definitely like leaking goals. Gerrard has actually managed to give them tougher at the back.
It's the midfield as well that's impressed me. I've seen Villa a few times, not all of your games, obviously, but like I have seen them quite a few times because they're a team that intrigues me. I thought, in terms of the defense, I thought under Dean Smith, Matty Cash, and Target, that's his name, the left back, right? I thought they were playing pretty poorly. It looked very sort of quite easy to get down the flanks against Villa under Dean Smith in the games that I watched. But the midfield as well looked a bit, I don't know, like they were all right, but it was quite easy to play through and around the Aston Villa midfield. But this has changed under Gerrard. The midfield seems to be doing really, really well. I don't know if that's just Stevie being a midfielder himself, inspiring them, or just something they're doing in training that's different, or just more pressing. But I think that's been the biggest change for me.
Yeah.
And it has... sorry.
Yeah, so, that was... for me, midfield is... I think a lot of Villa fans would have said midfield has been absolutely awful this season. And under Gerrard, it seems it was transformed. I think people would have said, we need a completely new midfield. And now it's almost like, how do we fit all the midfielders in? Because even the players coming off the bench have been fantastic. So the midfield has transformed us. And maybe that is because Gerrard was one of the best midfielders, certainly in the Premier League, probably Europe as well. And he's kind of translated that onto his players. He's been brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Welsh is saying, I'm pretty sure Chris had blonde hair. Is that you?
No, I did. Yeah, I did. I dyed it in the first lockdown, and it carried on from there. I just haven't really. I've got blonde tips, I suppose. Still,
yeah, you got blonde tips coming out of it, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't done. I haven't dyed my hair for a while. But yeah, thanks for noticing. It's good to see someone noticed. I did once have blonde hair, and it's kind of almost gone now. But that is correct.
Yeah. James Dunlop says, Steven Gerrard has respect and the presence to lead by example. The start he's had at Villa doesn't surprise me. No, absolutely not. And Matty Kaszowski. Yeah, that's a very interesting one, actually. Matty Cash obviously playing for Poland, which is quite interesting as well. Connor, what have you made of Villa under Gerrard?
Like the lads have said, I think Stevie's taken Villa back to the basics. I think that was what just watching Villa roughly this season, I think that it's what Dean Smith was lacking. I think at times, I think that the basics would be all over the place with Villa this season, and going forward, I know injuries have been a thing up front, especially Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings and that, and like the lads have said, the midfields, you'd say before Gerrard looked weak, they'd need another midfielder, and like the lads have said, you look at their top rated, I think John Mcginn, I think at the minute is like top rated player at Villa at the minute, which is John Mcginn in it, but Douglas Luiz, especially against Leicester, looked really, really good, and I just think that he is one of those players that he'll get that dressing room back on it. And just as time at Liverpool, he'll demand them to be at 100% all of the time, and I think that is what he's doing already now. It's fantastic what he has done. The Leicester game, I thought Villa were brilliant. I thought they deserved to win, especially that second goal that wasn't given. I was like, how is that a foul? But you just look at it and you go, Villa in those 5 games that they lost, and then since then, it's just 2 completely different teams, and you can tell already, the method and the philosophy that Stevie G is trying to do at Villa, and at the minute it's going good, and I hope it keeps on going good for Stevie G.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, one of those names that you obviously mentioned that someone's actually had a big impact from Gerrard is Marvelous Nakamba, who I thought was absolutely outstanding against Leicester City.
Oh, it's just. I mean, to be fair to him, he didn't have much of an opportunity under Dean Smith, but there were times when he played and he seemed like a liability. Every time he got the ball, you were just almost expecting him to give it away. But as you say, against Leicester, he was absolutely brilliant. I think he had a great game against Man City as well. And he's a player to have kind of it's one of them. It's almost like second chances. If he kind of sums up the everything around having a second chance and taking it with both hands. He's done it. He's been fantastic. When he came in, it was a case of he's what we need. Someone who's going to break up play and get rid of the ball and do all the dirty work. And we hadn't seen it enough under Dean Smith. But then Gerrard comes in, and I don't know if it's we mentioned it about him playing in midfield. Whether he's kind of said your role, like the kind of player I'd want behind me is doing this, so do this. And he's just been absolutely brilliant. And like you say, he's just under Gerrard, he's taken full advantage and he's been excellent. And I know Connor's mentioned John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, two players, particularly McGinn, who does tend to get the get the plaudits and all that kind of stuff. But Marvelous Nakamba doesn't. I think he was man of the match against Leicester. I think he got our player of the month. So it goes to show he's literally from a guy who couldn't get in the team and could never get off the bench. I think he started every game under Gerrard, and he's been fantastic.
He has, absolutely. And I watched that Leicester game with. I just watched it just to get an idea of obviously how Villa are playing. And I mean, to be fair to Leicester City, I don't know if Brad's in the chat, but I have to say you took advantage of their weaknesses at set pieces. I don't think I've ever seen a team defend so poorly from set pieces as Leicester City did, because even then, I still say this, you should have had that goal that Jacob Ramsey scored. I don't see what's wrong with it. I honestly do not see what was wrong with it. But Chris has asked a very good question. Thoughts on Tyrone Mings overall as a defender? For me, he's inconsistent as my Wi-Fi signal.
I mean, I like Tyrone Mings. He's a good player. I think in the Championship he was excellent. I don't want to say he hasn't quite stepped up, but he certainly has his moments. I think the inconsistency comes from that. It's almost like sometimes he's trying too hard, so he kind of makes rash decisions. But he's another player that seems to have benefited under Gerrard. Usually under Dean Smith, he would get the ball, play these long balls that would be try and get it forward to Ollie Watkins. But recently he's been taking it down, bringing it out of defence. It almost seems like he's had more players to be able to pass to, the way that Gerrard's got us lined up. So he's certainly improved. But yeah, he definitely has been inconsistent. But I think a lot of Villa fans will probably agree and tell you that even though he's had his moments and he's had a few moments where it's led to chances or certainly goals, we certainly look a lot better with him in the team than without him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And obviously he got that goal against Brighton as well. Owen and Connor, what have you made of what do you make of Tyrone Mings as a defender?
Go on, Connor. You can go first.
Well, I think sometimes he reminds me of Bambi when I watch him, because he just looks all over the place. But
Bambi,
yeah,
wow.
But he's like Chris said, he's one of those defenders that has to be concentrated all of the time. He can't have a lapse in concentration and then come back from it. I think I remember against us, probably back in 2019, where he was Villa's best defender on the pitch, and then I think it was around the 80th minute where I think he had a confrontation with Virgil and his head just went down the hill for the last 10 minutes of the game.
Oh yeah.
And that got to him, and then of course he loses the corner out to Mane, and that for me is Tyrone Mings in that. Now I know that there's been rumours about Gerrard wanting another centre back, and I think Joe Gomez was getting linked to Villa a couple of weeks ago, and that. So I don't know whether or not, if it wouldn't be for Mings, of course, but don't know whether or not if he's looking for any replacements there. But I think he has to be the typical English centre back, isn't he? He's decent. He's decent. Gets overhyped a little bit, and then it's like people get disappointed by him. I think, but that's my thoughts anyway.
Owen?
Yeah, it is interesting. Like Connor, I imagine you support Wales, right? Me too. I support not always. Okay,
sometimes World Cups.
Okay. In the glory days. Okay, yeah, okay. Like me. My dad was Welsh. My mum is Maltese. I'm from the island of Jersey. Right. International football means nothing to me, but there is a huge English bias. And you can't just say the media is this umbrella term, because the media is just made up of people. But there is this huge bias by English journalists who are English and patriotic when they write about English players to big them up so much. I think Tyrone Mings is a very good defender. I do. I think he's very good. But I love the word inconsistent, because that's exactly what he is. I mean, he can go wandering, but he's got so much talent. Like he's good with his head, and he's good at tackling, and he's great leadership. He's strong. He's quick enough. But I don't know. Sometimes he seems to like lose concentration. I don't know what it is. But generally, I think he's a good player. But like any English player, even though you got to the World Cup final or whatever it is by beating whoever you beat, Colombia, was it? I don't no idea, can't even remember. But like not the best teams, like I don't know, or the Euros final, whatever it was. England are overrated. Tyrone Mings is obviously a little bit overrated, but he's still a very good player. He's a very, very good player, and I think I prefer Konsa though. I prefer his partner.
Oh, Konsa's fantastic, definitely. Ballum, I'm not even going to get into that debate because look, basically. I don't give a monkeys. Don't give a monkeys what that blonde-haired buffoon has to say. Sorry, don't give a monkeys. Do not give a monkeys. No. Oh, Boris Johnson, who's trying to. I think he's trying to get his staff under the bus, but obviously I'm not talking about politics. Anyway, Balon's got a very interesting question though for you. What are Aston Villa hopes for the season?
It's a tough one, I think a lot of people debated this in pre-season because we finished 11th last season, even though we had a really good start to the season, won 4 from 4, played well, beat Liverpool and all that kind of stuff. But our form just fell off the edge of a cliff from January onwards, which is a big part of why Dean Smith ended up going. But we finished 11th, and I think it's kind of one of them. And people would have said, well, progression, you want to progress season on season, so progression would be top 10. But then at the same time, you kind of say, well, take Jack Grealish out of the equation. He was our best player and he's gone. I still think top 10 is probably the aim. There's almost like a mini league that's developed probably from 8th place downwards. I think between 8th and 15th, there's a bit of a mini league, I think, from Wolves down. And trying to finish top of that, probably would be good. I think you probably say the top 3 are the top 3, and then there's one of maybe 3 or 4 that will battle it out for 4th place, and then you're looking at Wolves downwards. So kind of 8th to 12th would be ideal, but you just don't know. People expected Leicester to be up there, and they're not having a great season so far. Leeds aren't particularly playing great, so. Be interesting, but top 10, I think, for a lot of people would be happy at that, especially with the fact that Grealish has moved on.
I would agree. Connor, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think top 10 is really realistic. I think the overall big question is, does Stevie need to, have an FA Cup run or something like that? I personally think not. But I've seen.
Well, put it this way: if you can beat Manchester United, he's already a hero.
Yeah, well, it's an easy win. Wait, what? No, but look, I think he has to have a big moment, doesn't he? And look, he's had fantastic moments so far, and it's one of those, City, they were very unlucky with the performance, like Chris said.
Yeah,
I think a big win, either home or away, will solidify Gerrard as being, look, we're here to, we're not here to take part. We're here to, move forward.
Yeah, this is a very good point. The atmosphere in Villa Park has changed with the impact Gerrard has made so far. Yeah, absolutely. The place is absolutely buzzing. Brad's still here. You may as well award opponents a goal when they get a corner. It's embarrassing.
Do you know what? Just touching on that, what was quite interesting is that goal. So Ezri Konsa's second that we scored from the corner against Leicester. So just before kickoff, I think it was John Mcginn and Austin McPhee, who's our set piece coach. So John Mcginn took the corner, which Konsa scored from. And so before the game kicked off, Mcginn was practicing his corners and Austin McPhee was stood exactly where Ezri Konsa scored the goal from, where he headed it in from. So it was almost like, put the ball here and you will score. And we perfected that down to a T. So that was really good. And I think Ezri Konsa after the game even said, a shout out to Austin McPhee, but you could see before the game they were practicing that. So fair play to them for
I know of Austin McPhee. He was at Hearts. I can't remember who it was under, but I do know he was there. He was there for a while. I think he's been in it. I think he's with. I think he's still with the Irish national team. I could be completely wrong about that, but Tom May, Evertonian, can't wait for Gerrard to do one over his beloved Liverpool. Deary me. Thomas Happy Blues beat Arsenal. Yeah. Tom May up the Ev. Yeah. Absolutely. I understand what you mean. The English media was surprised Pep loaned Joe Hart away for a season or two, then sell him. Pep knew Hart was good, but not his type of goalkeeper. But to be fair, Villa have got a very good goalkeeper in Emi Martinez, haven't they? Aston Villa are an interesting side. Individually, none of their players stand out as world beaters, but as a team, they are well drilled and can beat anyone on their day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely say top 10 for Villa. Top 10, it's definitely possible for Villa. A bunch of teams will battle it out. Points-wise, it's close. Yeah, especially if you have to say that Brighton have had, nine out of the last 11 games that have been draws, and they're still in the top 10. Surprisingly, I don't know how that was as well. Hello to Jack Mac. Hope you are doing well. What a panel. Evening chat. Yeah, guys, as Jack says, smash that like button and also subscribe if you're new, and also share the stream as well. You're the only missing piece, Jack, as well. And hello to Brethren John as well. Greetings, good people. Hope you are well and doing great as always. Now, I did actually ask, I have asked this to a lot of people today, and some people have said yes, and some people have said no. Connor and Owen, does Divock Origi warrant a start after 2 goals in 2 games?
I'll let Owen start with this one.
Okay, no. I mean, I love Divock Origi. I wrote a song about him last week after he scored. I got my guitar. I was so elated, and I bring the guitar out in the special moments and write songs for our players. I've got a few. None of them are good. They're all very silly. And there's a Divock Origi one that's the latest one because I love the guy. Absolutely adore the guy. He's a legend. I found this stat incredible. That I looked it up myself, right? And I've got it. If you look at the best Liverpool number 9s in the Premier League era, okay, forgive me if I missed someone because I did this myself and my memory's absolutely shot. But Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Torres, who else have we had in the Premier League era? Suarez, of course. Who else is a number 9? Was there one more? Can't remember. But Divock Origi as a substitute in 870 odd minutes as a substitute in his entire career for Liverpool has scored more goals per 90 minutes than any of them. So in their best season, if you take Suarez's best season ever, he got 31 goals in 34 games.
Mm-hmm.
And his average was around about 0.94 goals per 90. Fernando Torres, his best season was in 09-10 with the Villa manager setting him up every week, and he was absolutely clinical in 09-10. It was unbelievable. That was his best season, and he was 0.95 goals per 90. But Divock Origi is 1.06. It's Lewandowski numbers. as a substitute. So he is the perfect substitute. It's where I think he should stay forevermore. Having said that, Sadio Mane, I thought he would have been rested against Milan. I'm quite surprised he wasn't. But I would have played Divock yesterday. But for this weekend, no. Sadio, Jota, if Bobby's back, that's a big call. But either Sadio or Jota, if Bobby's back, put Bobby there. And Mo Salah, of course, and Divock, the lethal, the superest of super subs on the bench.
Our new David Fairclough, Connor? What do you think?
Well, there's a reason why he's a Lord, and he's Lord Divock Origi. And look, all the stats that Owen has just said, look, he should be in the starting lineup for Villa. He should be the first name on the team sheet. Is he going to start? No, he's not. He's not. Like, it's weird how, and Jurgen said he's the best striker he's ever had. And he put him over Lewandowski midweek. And you look at it, and it's just, he's happy with this role. Coming in, doing what he wants to do, score winning goals, I should say, and just walk out. And against Milan yesterday, thought he was okay, decent. And on the weekend just did what he did, and that's what he's done for Liverpool. And again on the weekend, if we need a goal from somewhere, he'll do it again, hopefully. But if that injury hadn't happened against Everton a couple of years ago, I wonder where he would be now in this Liverpool side, because he was scoring unbelievable amount of goals, and the numbers were up there. And if it wasn't for that injury, I just wonder where he could be right now. But yeah, he's a Lord for some reason, and we all know why, because we absolutely love him. But yeah, no, he doesn't start for me. I think he'll be Jota. If Bobby's fit, I think he'll be a maybe for Bobby. But yeah, it'll be Jota for the weekend.
Chris, what do you make of Origi?
I mean, it's not that he just doesn't look like I don't want to say he's good enough for the Liverpool team, but I suppose when you look at the players that Liverpool have, particularly at the moment, obviously Salah, Mane, Jota, Firmino, those guys are better than him. And I think they suit the way that Klopp plays down to a T. And that's why it works. That's why, Klopp's been successful, particularly last, 2-3 years and whatever. But I think, Connor mentioned it about he's happy. And he's happy being a sub. And I think he said after the Wolves game, I watched the Wolves game on Saturday because God knows why, but my eldest son is a Wolves fan, so I watched the Wolves game.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I don't like Wolves, I don't want them to win, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I want to see my son sad. But either way, I was hoping for a Liverpool win anyway. But see him come on and fair play to him. He took his goal really well. But he said after the game, he's happy. Playing that role, and how many teams can get a player like that who's happy to be on the bench and come on and do their job? And it's difficult because sometimes you'll get a player who's good enough to be on the bench, but they want to be starting, and then they're not quite happy, and there's discontent and all sorts. So having a player like that is perfect, and it's similar to, you go back years, you look at Solskjaer at Man United, having players like that. That's part of you need those kind of players to be successful. And I think he's not as good as the starting 3 or 4 attackers that Liverpool have, but he's certainly good enough as a super sub, and it works, and it's worked, and he's done well. He's scored big winning goals, hasn't he? So
he has, yeah. And I absolutely love him, and obviously we all do, because of the impact that he's had this season. And about starting, I'm not so sure, but what I know is that Divock deserves to have a song from LFC fans, just like Van Dijk, who has his own song. Yeah. Absolutely. Origi wants to be a super sub, but he doesn't score often, in my opinion. Hi, Maisie. Hope you're well. This is James. Be our strongest available 11 versus Aston Villa. I think Keita starts versus Newcastle with cotton wool in his boots to stop him kicking the grass and getting injured. Chris, always the one for Keita. Me and Klopp is surprised no one came in to buy Origi with his asking price. Look, I think the thing is with Origi, I think if he's happy enough to do that bit part player role, be on the bench, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it, and it's an option to come off the bench as well. We'd love to get paid all our wages for 30% all the time. I think so as well. Werner just scored 3. Oh, bugger Chelsea. Who cares? Yes, in Klopp first season, Riggy was a regular star. Hi, Nipoon. Hope you're doing very well, my friend. Thoughts on former player Milner. Many Aston Villa fans were sad to see him go. Surprised he still plays. No, I'm not. I'm not any bit surprised he still plays as well. Origi is a cult hero for me. And the Poons just asked the question that I would really, really like, but I just don't see it. John McGinn to Liverpool. I just don't see it.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I've seen him linked with United this week, I'm sure. He'll come to the point when he's linked with everyone because he's started playing well, under Gerrard, hasn't he? So
yeah. And he's been fantastic for the Scotland national team as well. Origi is perfect option off the bench as well. Well, coming to obviously Origi, key battles. So, what do we think the key battles are in this game? Owen and Connor, I'll come to you first for this one.
Go on, Connor.
I'd say probably again midfield. I think it depends. Like the Liverpool go full strength. Of course, Thiago, Fabinho, and Hendo has been the main three and the best three for us over the last few weeks, and it's worked out perfectly. The game against Southampton, the game against the Ev as well. Scoring 4 goals in both. And for me, I think as well the balance of that 3 is fantastic all around. It's then, of course, does Jurgen change it a little bit? Does he bring in Naby? Does he bring in Ox to maybe run at Villa? Because I don't think Villa are going to be defensive in this game. I think they'll play. Of course, they won't be like full on all out attack, but they won't be like a Burnley and be like 12 people, 11 people behind the ball. But it is going to be that, and then of course you'll have the battles. Fabinho with John McGinn, and of course Hendo with Douglas Luiz and that, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not what Villa actually go with. Will it be a 4-2-3-1? Could it be a 4-3-3? I'm not sure on. Chris will know better than me, but yeah, I think midfield will be the key battle for the weekend.
Owen?
I think that's a great answer because I think the midfield will be very important. But for me, what I do every single game now is I see who the left back is of our opposition, because that's the one who's going to try and mark Salah.
Yeah.
And so this one, whether it's probably Ashley Young, right? Or it's not going to be, is Matt Targett injured, or I'm not sure.
He missed the last game because he got concussion, went off with concussion against Man City, so he might be back.
Oh, yeah.
He might be back.
Yeah, it'll be either Targett or Young. I'd expect Targett, to be fair.
Targett with Douglas Luiz in front of him, sort of to try and help him out.
Yeah, he's been mixing it up, to be honest, Gerrard. He could be anyone. It could be Luiz, Sanson, Jacob Ramsey, maybe. Yeah,
because I really... I like those players, but Salah is just such a... I don't have the words. Is it 15 goals in 13 games and 9 assists, or is it 13 goals in 15 games and 9 assists? It's 13 goals.
13 goals, 9 assists in the Premier League, 20 goals in all competitions.
Yeah, so 7 goals in 6 Champions League games. He's untouchable. Even against the best left backs on the planet. And I like Targett. I don't like Ashley Young, obviously. Sorry. But because of his history. But I just think that Salah will just have them on toast and down the wings. And from what I saw against Villa, what I saw against Leicester, Villa were very good, but they weren't that hard to play through. Marvelous Nakamba was good. He made some great interceptions and stuff. But I think the way Liverpool are playing, we won our last 2 home games 4-0. I think the key battles will be everywhere, but especially trying to stop Salah. If I was Gerrard, I would just be. That would be my main concern.
I'm going to have to say one player that really worries me in this game is Ollie Watkins. He just has a habit of scoring against us. The
He's a
three
quality
goals,
player, yeah.
3 or 4 goals last season that he scored, and obviously we will come to past meetings very, very shortly. I'm not even going to mention one result, but Ollie Watkins is a very, very good player, and I think he is the main danger man for me for Villa. Look, Mcginn. Everyone knows I love John Mcginn. Love John Mcginn as a player. He's been fantastic for the Scotland national team as well. He'll be a threat. He'll be an absolute threat. He is a workhorse as well. So that's something else to look forward to. And also Konza from the back. We need to be wary of Villa's corners and the McGinn corners as well. So I'm very much looking forward to this game as well. Chris, how are you looking? How are you feeling about this match?
It's a tough one. I mean, I'm certainly more confident now than I would have been, 5-6 weeks ago. Considering that we were competitive against Man City, we beat Leicester on a decent run overall. But at the same time, Liverpool they've been brilliant this season. Salah's been, Owen just said, he's been next level. I just think those will be the key battles, as Owen and Connor have mentioned. I think that the fullbacks, be the Salah and whoever plays on the left, whether it be Mana, Jota, up against the fullbacks, will be a tough battle, and in midfield as well, because there's the potential that, especially with Thiago being in there, that Liverpool could just kind of dominate proceedings, keep the ball, keep moving it around, and then we're there running around like a headless chicken. But what we've been able to do under Gerrard is, even when we haven't had much possession, we've been able to be compact and tight. And then when we've got the ball, we've done well with it. We've created some chances, nice one-touch passing, being able to break from midfield, and the midfield's looking good. Like I mentioned before, we got to a point when people were thinking, well, we need to completely upgrade on all our midfielders, including John Mcginn. And now, whenever a player comes off the bench who's a midfielder, we're looking at them and thinking, well, how do we fit all these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 midfielders in the team? They're all playing really well. So I think that'll be key. And Watkins as well, we need him to have a good game. Obviously, it'll be tough for him up against Van Dijk, but yeah, I think he could play a key part. Obviously, if he's on his game, then he can cause your defenders trouble.
Yeah, guys, Zenit just scored again. It's 3-3. So that means Chelsea are definitely finishing second in the group. Juventus are winning that group. James Dunlop's actually asked a very good question, Chris. Is Danny Ings out injured?
I believe so. He's missed the last 2. Out injured the last 2 games. I think he's out this one as well. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. Knee injury, I think possibly. He's had trouble with his knees in the past. But yeah, I mean, interesting one, Danny Ings. Obviously, you guys will know he's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's not old. He's 29. But I don't know if the injuries have affected him to the point where he's not quite as quick as he used to be, and his game is purely, as a kind of goal scorer. But it's tough for a team that are, bottom half as we are, pretty much, to be able to have it's not a passenger, but to be able to accommodate somebody, to be able to work in and around the box and be a bit of a poacher. But I think he's out, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Owen and Connor, like we all like Danny Ings, but it's just injuries, unfortunately, were just the part and parcel of him in his Liverpool career, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and it's sad in a way, because look, when we signed Danny Ings from Burnley for, what was it, 6 million, 8 million, because of a tribunal, like I thought it was going to be a very, very good signing for Liverpool, and it was to some extent. But then, of course, I think Brendan Rodgers signed Danny Ings for us, I think. And then
Rodgers,
yeah, and then Jurgen comes in, he gets injured straight away, and then of course Jurgen brings in, of course, the front 3 that we have now, and Danny Ings doesn't compare to the front three, unfortunately. But he is a really, really good Premier League striker. We've seen that for Southampton, especially when he got 20 plus goals in the league campaign, and he can do it. And he's a very, very good striker and one of the best in the league. But it is injuries, unfortunately, that has derailed his career, because I think he would be up there. Because personally, like before he moved to Villa, I thought he would have been going to Spurs or someone like that. But then, the Villa transfer come in, and I was shocked, but happy for Danny Ings that he'd got a club and a project at the time that looked very, very promising, and still does, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. Owen, what are your thoughts on Danny Ings?
Yeah, it's a sad story, because I remember watching him at Burnley, the 14-15 season. He scored 11 goals in 35 matches. And I remember one against City. He was 22 years old when we signed him, and I was delighted, because I'm like, wow, we've got this guy. He can really go places. I loved his attitude, his spirit. He was really, he was a fighter, but, he plays, with all of his heart, and that's great. But I've got the minutes that he played for Liverpool in front of me. So in season 1, he managed 340 minutes all season. The next season, 360 minutes. The next season, 689 minutes. And the season after that, his last season with us, 267 minutes. So he played not even a season's worth of football in 4 years at Liverpool. So, it's because, if you play every minute, then it's normally 3,500 minutes in one season. So he played almost 2/3 of a season's worth of football, which is such a shame. And then at Southampton, luckily, happily for him, he managed 2,800 minutes in 1920, and that's when he got 22 goals. We finally saw his potential, and now it looks like with Stevie G, with his high pressing Klopp style tactics, that it's going to be too much for poor Danny, but I wish him well.
Hopefully he'll be okay. Jack's asked a very good question, Chris. Does Chris think Liverpool need to focus on set plays, given how they've improved with Steve and Villa putting 2 or more players on the goalkeeper?
I think so, yeah. I think I've seen a stat this week that we've scored the most goals in the league this season from set pieces, which they're all from crosses. I think we've got one that's from a long throw into the box. The others are from free kicks or corners into the box where we've got on the end of them. So we've been quite good from set plays, and we seem to have certainly taken it up a level under Gerrard. So yeah, possibly. But I don't know. I always look at Liverpool and think, with Van Dijk there, he can defend it on his own. Is that good? But yeah, it's I think it's an option that we've got and that we've used quite well this season. So probably gives them something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Helen's asked a very good question. Have we got our injured players back? As far as I'm aware, Keita, Gomez, Milner, I think are all back. Curtis Jones is the one. I don't think he's back yet.
I think it's just Curtis.
Just Curtis.
Curtis, Harvey Elliott.
Firmino might be back. Yeah. Well, it's just that the last thing that Jurgen Klopp apparently said about Firmino was on the 30th of November, according to this Fantasy Football Scout website I'm looking at, that Jurgen said on the 30th of November that Bobby needed 1 more week to do more football stuff in training before being considered for a return. So that was obviously more than a week ago. So there is a chance for Bobby.
Okay. That's good. Hello to Mahesh Mohan. I hope I've not butchered that name. Tyler Morton, big shout out to him. I thought he was excellent yesterday against Milan. Really, really impressive from him as well. Right, starting 11. So, Chris, what are you going for Saturday?
I think back 5 will probably be as usual, which will be Martinez in goal, then right to left, Cash, Konza, Mings and Target. I think then midfield 3, Nakamba, Mcginn, and maybe either Louise or Ramsey, possibly Louis. I mean, it could be either, but I'll go with Louise. And then I think he'll probably go, if he starts targeting left back, then he'll put Ashley Young and Buendia behind Ollie Watkins. I think, the only one it'd be a case of if he goes with Louise or Ramsey in midfield. I think the rest of it pretty much picks itself, as long as Target's okay. But I'm pretty sure that he had to miss the last game because he went off against City with the concussion injury. But yeah, that's what I'm going for. Yeah,
concussion is very, very serious, and I think it was a very, very good move from him to obviously miss one game. But yeah, I think he'll definitely be back. Target. Okay. Owen, what's your starting 11 for Saturday?
Alisson in goal, obviously. Virgil van Dijk, obviously. But partnering Virgil, I would put Konate because I love Joel Matip. I think he's been the second best defender in the league this year. But I think he's great against teams that aren't going to be so adventurous. And I don't think Villa are going to necessarily be adventurous completely, but they've got a lot of pace on the break. And Konate can stop the pace of Ollie Watkins, for example. I mean, I'm worried about Ollie Watkins on the break, so Konate there. The fullbacks, Robertson and Trent. No call for Tsimikas in my view. And then in midfield, what Connor was saying before with Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago, the dream midfield. And then the front three. If Bobby is back, I'm going to rest Mane and play Jota on the left, Bobby and Mo Salah.
I like your thinking. Connor.
Completely agree with the back five. I think Ibu now has Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Cristiano Ronaldo in his back pocket, which is nice. But yeah, both. It's a nice option to have, isn't it? Both Ibu and Joel Matip. Agree with what Owen said. I think Matip's been fantastic this season. But yeah, that pace of Ollie Watkins, Matip, as we've seen with Antonio, with West Ham, did struggle a bit with pace. So I think Konate will probably be the best bet there. Trent and Robbo, the middle three. I think that's pretty much easy. I think Thiago and Fabinho haven't lost. If they play together, so that stays the same for me. And then I think Jota. I think if Bobby will be on the bench. I'm gonna go for Jota, Mane, and Salah. I think Salah, like you said earlier on, like 20 goals already this season, and we're at the beginning of December. It's unbelievable. And I think he'll score. I think he'll score 50 goals this season. The way he's continuing.
Yeah, and also someone from the Manchester Evening News thinks that Bernardo Silva should be the fans' player of the year. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything about Bernardo Silva being a bad player and all. Bernardo Silva's had a fantastic season, but he's nowhere near the numbers that Mohamed Salah is going. Anyway, I'm in total agreement. I think it'll be Ali, Trent. I'm actually going to go alone. I think we'll see Konate. I think he was fantastic last night, but I don't think anyone is saying anything about the Nat Phillips giving Ibrahimovic the hot dog. Absolutely amazing from Nat Phillips. But it'll be Van Dijk, it'll be Robertson, it'll be Fab, it'll be Hendo, it'll be Thiago. And then I do agree. I think if Firmino is fit, I think it'll be Jota, Firmino, and Salah. If he's not fit, then I do think it'll be. No. Remember I said about maybe Origi starting? No. He could do that. I think Mane does need a break, though. I do think Mane needs a break. I think he has looked tired recently. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jota, Origi, Salah. I think Origi might start. I did see something else, Helen. Please, I'm not going to go into that. Honestly, where was it? Can I mention the Agbonlahor crap? Oh yeah, has anyone seen this?
No.
Gabriel Agbon-Lahore has labelled Nat Phillips a championship defender and says he is not Premier League quality.
To be fair, that's what a lot of Liverpool fans were saying before we saw him play. If you know what I mean. Or after one game or two games where we saw him play, we were like, oh, yeah, well, he's not good enough. But now we know, because he's proved it time and time again, he's actually quality. He's actually really good. I think, Newcastle United are preparing a 170 million bid as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why Genie would want to go on loan. He must regret joining Paris. Oh, yeah, there's talk about Paris wanting to get rid of him.
Apparently Arsenal want him.
Yeah. Ollie Watkins will start for them. Absolutely. Yes, I did see that. If there was election, he'd be like the Prime Minister of idiots. Rather than listen to broken toilet flush, I want him to put his medals on the table. That's my response. No offence, Chris. Well, let's be honest. He wasn't the brightest of people, was he? Right, prediction for the game. Chris, what are you going for?
Tough, so tough. I want to go for 2-1 Liverpool. I think it's going to be tight and close. But I just think that Liverpool's quality will just come through unless Steven Gerrard plays himself in midfield. Then he might stick one in top corner from 30 yards or something. But yeah, I'll go 2-1. I think it'll be tight, but I just think Liverpool just have a bit too much for us.
Owen?
I'm really sorry, Chris, but I'm going to predict another 4 goals. 4-1. 4-1 to Liverpool. It's not that Villa are bad or, I hope I'm not being, arrogant or anything. Like I predicted we'd score 5 against United and we did. I predicted we'd score 4 against Arsenal and we did. And I think we're going to score another 4. It's just that we're playing at an insane level of football that I haven't seen since the late 80s when I was a little kid and I was too young to appreciate it. But it's madness how good we are. So yeah, sorry, I'm going to say 4, maybe 4-1.
4-1. Connor?
Should I go 5? No, I'm kidding. I think it's gonna be 3-1. I think it will be tight at times. But I think, like Owen said, Liverpool are playing at such a high level at the moment. It's frightening. And I think once Mo gets the ball, of course he wants to keep going, doesn't he? So yeah, for me, 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 as well, but I do think Villa will score first, and I think we'll come from behind. Because didn't Villa score first the last game between the sides? Didn't they score first at Anfield last season?
Yeah, Watkins scored. Then just before half time, Firmino scored that one, and he was, a hair offside, wasn't he? And then Liverpool scored. I think maybe Firmino equalised, and then Trent, last minute, thunderbolt from the edge of the box, which was sad and emotional. But I think we scored. Did we score first at Villa Park last year as well?
Yeah.
We don't mention those games.
And second, and probably not third, but 4th, 5th, 6th. Yeah, I won't go on, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Tom, get in the bin. That ain't happening. 5-2 Villa. That is not happening. Chris Ross says Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 1. Helen, 6-0. That ain't happening either. I'm sorry to say. Jack Max going 3-2. So it's going to be a real battle. Wow. It could be as well. This is quite funny. Barcelona actually need to beat Bayern Munich today in the Champions League, which I can see happening. So I think Barcelona are out because Benfica will do the job in Dynamo Kiev. I feel absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree. 6-1. No, it's just like in Stevie's last game. 6-1. Jesus, I don't think it's going to be 6-1. Jack hasn't gone for a big scoreline. Score prediction, pigs flying in the sky. Yeah, no, I'm going 3-2 Liverpool, says Sebastian. Gerrard impact's getting massively underplayed, given how much of a battler he was. Not going to be a walk in the park. I absolutely agree with that. If Villa start to struggle in the new year, do you think Gerrard rewrite his contract to become a player manager?
Hope so.
Po-
Get him in there.
Possibly. But guys, that is all we've got time for on this match preview tonight. Big thank you to Chris Ellis, whose lights seem to keep on getting turned off.
It's because I'm the only one in this office, so no one moves. The lights will just go off.
Well, I really do appreciate you coming on as well. Are you still into podcasting? Have you gone away from that?
Yeah, I haven't done anything for a while. I think the last 3 times I've done anything has been with you guys. It was. I'm going to bore you, but it was didn't have the time for it because of work, and I kind of lost the enjoyment for it, to be fair. But I always find that I enjoy myself on the Dugout football channel, so always happy to get involved.
Oh, well, I really do appreciate that. That does actually mean a lot, so thank you very, very much. Owen, always a pleasure to have you on. What's coming up on Cop On this week?
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, and it's been really good fun. Cop On is carrying on as usual. There won't be a Premier League preview this week because I'm having my 3rd jab, and I'm predicting sort of feverish dreams of Bill Gates at night. So I'm gonna, that's not going to happen. But we'll be back after the Villa game to have a review, maybe on Sunday. But if you're interested in audio content, then check out Cop On podcast wherever you get your podcasts, because it's it's great fun doing it, and it's great to be here, Doug. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. And Connor, thank you very much as always. I'll obviously see your lovely face on Friday for the Friday LFC Focus. Also, Mr. Thomas will be with us on the 17th, our final show of the year, because basically I'm not forcing anyone to do a show on Christmas Eve. If anyone is actually physically thinking, oh, Douglas is going to do a show on Christmas Eve, you have another thing coming. So they have me. But Connor, what's coming up on the COP Council this week?
Well, hopefully a match preview. I tried to do a post-match of the Wolves game. Didn't happen. Thanks, internet. But no, like literally, of course, I'll see you on Friday. But Christmas Eve, it's cooking day, Christmas wrapping day. It's chaotic. It's a chaotic time. But no, thank you very much for having me on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure being on once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I've really enjoyed this. Cheers, panel, and shall be all having a lovely evening. Thank you, Jag. Smashing and Chris, very much appreciated you coming on all our shows. Yeah, Chris, I'm pretty sure will be available to do more. So just catch him on. It's Instagram now, isn't it? You're not on Twitter anymore.
I got kicked off Twitter, so
what?
yeah. I made a comment that wasn't, obviously nothing bad or whatever, but Twitter deemed it to be inappropriate. So I just said that Villa was shoehorning players into the team, and Twitter deemed it inappropriate. And despite my appeals, they booted me off Twitter. So yeah.
Well, how dare you use the verb shoehorn?
I know, that's the thing. I was thinking that's why I appealed. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but you can see here, I've used it, and I even explained what the term meant, shoehorning.
Yeah, it does. There's nothing wrong with that.
In regards to football, they were like, "No, see you later, bye." And I was like, "Oh, cheers, thanks for that."
That's
so yeah, guys, go and follow Chris on Instagram. That is just scandalous, absolute scandalous. But on that note, we will end on that, and I will see you all very, very soon. But yeah, guys, please go and get Chris on Instagram if you want more collabs, because I've really enjoyed them on tonight's show. But I will see you all very, very soon, and hopefully the Reds win on Saturday. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks, guys.